we're coming in here live on the altar for our pick a card, where you will see we have our 5 Chinese elements lined out here, where you can just tune in and see what you're feeling pulled towards, 1 through 5. So for pile 1 is associated with the metal element, 2, water, 3, wood, 4, fire, and 5 is earth. So while you are feeling into those energies for your pick a card, and yes, it's okay if you feel more than one, we are going to have a little special collective message here using a deck that very synchronistically arrived this week, and I was struck by the beauty of none other than the Strength card. So this deck is called Unfinished Business, a Ghostly Tarot by MJ Cullinane. I absolutely love all of her work. She does the Crow Tarot, the Urban Crow Oracle, and more that I've featured here in the past, and certainly will again. This is a gorgeous deck, but check out the Strength card, which, as we know, we are in this 8th year with the power of the Strength card. And if you have watched the prior videos I shared on the Chinese New Year, we talk about this wood dragon energy we see in the back as we are ushering in now the Yang Wood Dragon, which also holds the message of you have the strength. So let's flip over this beautiful Strength card. Absolutely gorgeous what we are seeing here, and the way that MJ Cullinane always weaves in beautiful stories. And of course, this is a ghostly tarot, so it's going to be focusing on stories that have been created that speak to what has passed and what is unfinished. Okay, so feeling into the energy here of strength, there is a beautiful story about this situation where we have a serene village nestled within the rolling hills of Tibet. And living in this quiet village is a Buddhist monk named Dawa, and he was known for his deep meditation and unshakable calm. One fateful day, he watched from a distance as the neighboring villages, statues, and shrines, symbols of peace and spirituality, were demolished by the Chinese government. The air was thick with dust and despair, but Dawa remained as a silent observer, his heart heavy with sorrow, yet calm in the storm of destruction. And the story goes on to explain how Dawa stood his ground until the very end, and ultimately, tragically, was overtaken by the tanks that were rolling through the village. Once again, bringing in an incredibly powerful message that was a part of our new moon reading for the Empowerment Pack, where we brought through the seeding of the new and the fruit that is to be harvested in the future, with a beautiful quote that says, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit." So there is this energy of standing in one's power and pulling into one's inner strength, that no matter the outcome, that ultimately this energy coming through is about the power of being your most authentic self. So the general message that comes through with this card is one of inner power, grace, and resilience. And it doesn't necessarily represent physical strength, but rather the inner fortitude and courage to overcome challenges with patience and compassion. Tap into your deep well of emotional and spiritual strength. Face your fears, tame your impulses, and approach situations confidently and gently. True strength isn't about dominance, but understanding and mastering one's emotions and reactions. It's a reminder that even in times of adversity, you possess the heart of a lion. Brave, loving, and wise. Trust your inner strength and let it guide you through challenges with grace and love. I thought that was just so powerful and beautiful for ushering in this wood dragon's energy that says you have the inner strength. So What we're going to do, our little wild card here to round out our collective messages, we're going to open up these fortune cookies that I was saving to ring in the new year. We never know what we're going to get with the fortune cookies, but we're going to take these fortunes and we're going to weave them into the messages that we're bringing through today. I'm just going to open each one. Okay. Ooh, you are full of hopes about your future. The lucky numbers, 24, 31, 14, 18, 22, and 42. Beautiful. The other one, you are more likely to give than give in. Beautiful. Lucky numbers, 29, 31, 14, 2, 56, and 13. So we bring through these two messages to underscore what's coming forward today and in this new vibration of hope for the future, forgiving and standing in one's inner strength and power. We have these beautiful messages coming through. So once again, tune in here to the 5 cards and feel as to whether you're feeling drawn to pile 1, well, it's 1 card. 1 card for the metal element, number 2 for water, 3 for wood, 4 for fire, or 5 for earth. And I will be revealing the cards a little later with the interpretations and intuitive messages. Thank you so much for being here and Happy New Year. Okay, if you chose card number 1 for the element of metal, your card is number 48, the metal pig, partnership and collaboration. This beautiful card is bringing in the metal pig pillar with yin metal over the pig's yin water. It reveals how our partners in love or business are a reflection of who we are. As one of the 10 spiritual pillars, the metal pig also indicates the work of the divine in our serendipitous interactions with current and future partners. We may feel a certain familiarity or instant connection. That flicker of recognition is the souls acknowledging each other's light and vibration. The pig, one of the 4 travel stars in Chinese metaphysics, is not without fears, but she can move quickly once the wheels of fate are set in motion. This card appears to help us make sense of our changes in partnerships, whether personal or professional. We attract partners who match our frequencies, which change as we evolve. Relationships feel fated when the frequencies align. Separations occur when our vibrations are no longer in harmony, and there comes a time for each partner to move on to the next step in their own unique path. When this happens, let them go and wish them well as the partnership has served its purpose. Check in with the heart whenever you're considering partnering with someone for a project. Placing your fears aside, does the heart scream yes with excitement? Then go for it and enjoy the collaboration and energy exchange. There's no mere coincidence here. Pay attention to synchronicity and serendipity. The universe is always ever supportive in helping us meet the right people and the right group at the right time in the right place. Trust in divine flow and open your heart to receive its guidance. The message from heaven for Metal Pig. Metal shows our most significant relationships as a reflection of our soul's journey. Consider how the lessons learned in your relationships have contributed to your growth. Message from Earth. The pig signifies ever-changing circumstances. Surrender to the flow and embrace the process. So this is a really beautiful message where I'm really seeing this. I keep feeling like namaste, the light in me sees the light in you, because we see this coming together of two, and there's these light bodies, and one is lighter and one is darker. And so to me, this can show, finding within a counterpart, whether it be in love, friendship, partnership, or other aspects of ourself, really coming together in a way that honors the dynamics of our relationships. And I love this interpretation. This is something that I've been talking about recently a lot, about really starting to change the way that we look at a lot of our relationships. I think we tend to bring a lot of ego into our relationships, where there's so much hemming and hawing over whether to do something or not to do something, or stay somewhere or to go from somewhere. And a lot of it having to do with what we're anticipating the other person thinks or wants or expects, and we kind of get into this hypothetical swordsy place in our head, versus if we were to drop into our heart and simply feel it as a frequency, as energy. It can be as simple when we take the ego out of it, as simple as whether or not something feels aligned, whether or not it's vibrating in the same frequency. And when we raise our frequency, everything around us that is not rising in frequency as well vibrates away. And so as we see relationships shifting and changing in our lives, or finding ourselves attracted to different types of relationships, or maybe repelled from others, there's really this magnetizing energy going on. As I think that's interesting that this is coming up in the metal element, this magnetizing in or repelling out. So just kind of feeling that really in, as you're raising your vibration and really working on your path, allowing those things to naturally flow in and flow out, and really having it be about dropping in, seeing how it feels. So that is the beautiful message coming forward for Metal Pig. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you chose the water element card number 2, your card is here as the water bird. Speak your truth. Beautiful. Yin water in the heavenly frequency helps us tune in to the quiet voice of wisdom. Yin water may be calm, but it can still contain hidden mysteries in its depth. We can see through easily when the water is clear, but it takes patience to wait for the mud to clear in murkier water. The bird, a pure yin metal sign, reminds us that what we say is a reflection of our inner state. As the most communicative sign of the Chinese zodiac, the bird not only knows how to impress with words, but also realizes the impact words can have. The water bird pillar guides us to be truthful in our communication. When you speak your truth, you also live in truth as you learn to differentiate truth from your thoughts and see things as they are. Through self-reflection, we will also be better able to accept the self as we gradually stop judging or harming the self with negative thoughts. Truth, after all, doesn't judge or make assumptions. This card is an invitation to develop a higher awareness of the self through self-reflection. You can start by keeping a daily journal of your thoughts and feelings. Do your words reflect who you are? Are they aligned with your actions? Can you hear your true self when you speak to others? The message from heaven: our mind, like water, gets muddy at times. Wait until the mind is clear and calm before you speak. The message from earth: the bird knows that our reality is a reflection of our thoughts. Speak kindly to yourself from a place of love, and truth will embrace you. What a beautiful card. So I see here that this is card number 10. So we're talking about this beautiful place we find ourselves in right now, because 10 holds the vibration of 1, which is new beginnings. And of course, that meets at this place with endings, right? So as we've just come through one lunar cycle and begun anew with the new moon in Aquarius just yesterday, and we're in those energies now. And in fact, today is the 10th of February. We honor and bring in the Chinese New Year, with this card number 10. So there's definitely this new energy coming in with this fresh start, and it brings us into the words that we speak, and whether we're speaking those words aloud or these are thoughts in our head, bringing us into this idea of self-reflection and how we speak to ourselves, and allowing that to match the way that we would speak to others, and thinking about whenever we're struggling with something for ourselves, and the idea of maybe holding ourselves to a much more stringent standard, or speaking to ourselves in a way that we would never speak to someone else, envisioning how would you speak to a friend, or a child, or an elderly person, or a stranger, a neighbor, anyone. Would you have some patience and grace and compassion? Can you hold that for yourself as well, and really practice this mindful way of communicating, and recognizing that in doing so, though, still speaking your truth, right? So finding that way of, even when, as it's comparing the clear water versus the murky water. One of the things we talked about in the new moon in Aquarius is the sign of the water bearer, which incidentally, it's an air sign, even though it often gets associated with water because of this sign of the water bearer, taking between the vessels and pouring the water, with this idea that the water contains all of the psychic debris of humanity. So it's sort of like going through a filtration, right? And so we kind of had this comparison to this idea of like a fountain, where you see the water flowing from the fountain and think it's this endless source of water, but really it's filtrating through. And this idea of maybe filtering through your thoughts, taking them through your heart, seeing how it feels, and then allowing them to flow forward in truth, though, with really the main central point here being about speaking your truth, and recognizing that you can share your truth with others, and you can speak kindly within yourself from a place of love and truth. So there is your message. Thank you so much for tuning in, and Happy New Year. Okay, if you chose card 3 for the wood element, you've received Wood Rat, aligned with your purpose. And I see here, this is card 1. The people who chose pile number 2 or card number 2 also received a 1 energy in the 10. So this is really a beautiful reflection of where we find ourselves at this new beginning, at this new year, and just ushering in the new moon as well. So the wood rat's message says, aligned with your purpose. The wood rat, as the first pillar in the sexagenary cycle of 60 pillars, portends that a new beginning is in store. Wood is associated with the element of spring, and this card emphasizes stepping into a path of new growth. You've been doing the work and living in alignment with your purpose. The path ahead is clear, and it's time for you to take a step farther in the direction of your dreams. Everything is as it should be, with heaven and earth in alignment in the wood rat pillar. Know that you are more than ready for the journey ahead. Your knowledge and skills will take you far. Keep learning to enrich your resources. The water element of the rat in the earthly frequency supports the yang wood in the heavenly frequency, creating a continuous cycle of growth. Adopt a beginner's mind to fully experience what's waiting for you on the other side. The message from heaven, wood as the element of expansion, supports a long-term vision and a growth mindset. Where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, and 10 years from now? Like a tree, yang wood doesn't grow tall overnight, but keeps reaching higher as years go by. See each progress, no matter how small, as a stepping stone towards something greater. And the message from Earth? In the spirit of the rat, a yang water sign associated with oceans and seas, keep your eye on the horizon and your imagination far into the future. Take another step towards your dream and jump in. Don't overthink it. Well, this card is giving me a little bit of those yellow brick road vibes coming through the forest. And if I recall, that's right around the time they picked up the cowardly lion on their way in seeking out the Emerald City, right? So courage. So I don't know. I just feel like, this is really a fortuitous card for the opportunity for you to really step out onto your path, feeling aligned with your purpose. Maybe really, I love this idea of thinking about really taking a moment to envision yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and thinking, every step I take, is this step supporting me in the path that I wish to take ahead of me? Is this helping me, harming me, indifferent? And surely every moment of every day isn't going to be taking a step towards your 1 year or 5 year or 10-year stretch goals. But when it comes to making decisions, and maybe even more significant decisions, where you think about how you want to spend your time, your energy, is this thing, this event, this whatever it is that I'm having an opportunity to gift my energy to, supporting me in my goals? Is this aligned with my purpose? And sort of using that as a map for a pathway forward. I'm just feeling that message for anybody for whom that resonates with. But I think that's really beautiful about this continuous cycle of growth, and being encouraged to adopt that beginner's mindset is really beautiful because of this one energy. It actually reminds me too of sort of like the magician energy. Magician is card 1 of the tarot, and really setting out with this particular set of tools. And again, I just feel this nudge towards having courage to stand in whatever feels most aligned for you and your purpose, right? No matter where the pathway leads. So I hope you are finding some resonance within this message, and thank you so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. Oh my goodness. If you chose pile 4, the element of fire, how adorable is this fire rabbit? So here we have, perhaps quite synchronistically, card 4, number 4, right? So we've got the 4 here on this card. Welcome the muse. So the fire rabbit is welcoming in the energy of the muse. So let's consult the Chinese 5 elements for the message of fire rabbit and see what comes forward. The fire rabbit pillar reminds us that our light shines brightest when we can easily find the joy within. The key to cultivating that inner joy is following your muse. Yin fire inspires, while the rabbit, a yin wood sign associated with the artist, creates. Collaborate with the muse when she comes as a flash of inspiration, and feel the heart expand as you transform ideas into form. The muse can be elusive, and at times you may have to make extra efforts to feel her presence. Be patient, take a walk in nature, and allow your mind to wander. Inspiration may strike when you admire the perfect symmetry, shade, and intoxicating scent of a flower. Explore your interests and pay more attention to what makes your heart sing. Tune into the heart to help you discover your sparks of joy. The fire rabbit invites you to open your heart and your senses to experience the beauty around you. Let it inspire the muse within. Like joy begets joy, beauty also begets more beauty. When we can see the beauty in everything, beauty becomes a joyful part of us as we work with the muse to create magic from the beauty around us. The message from heaven says, with yin fire in the heavenly frequency, make joy your first priority. Cultivating inner joy is hard work, but once you've found it, it will lead you to a cycle of positive changes. The message from heaven: create space in your daily life to honor the muse, the essence of the rabbit. Be patient. She likes to show up during meditative moments when the mind is idle and the heart is open. So, very beautiful card. Definitely giving me, it's feeling very connected actually to card number 3, which was for the wood element. If you're interested to check that out, it was card number 1, and it was giving me magician vibes because card 1 is the magician. And I think that similarly here, it's like taking all that lights you up and what sparks joy in your heart and using that as a place to create from. And letting the mundane and the everyday inspire you, and actually making it your job to seek out joy in every little thing, right? In every little moment. And it's funny because this is completely random, but it's reminding me for some reason, if you're familiar with Cadbury eggs, okay, I'm a little early here for Easter. I was literally just talking about this with some people yesterday about Cadbury eggs and, the chocolate eggs that are filled with the good stuff in the inside and how they have the Cadbury rabbit, which was always anything but a rabbit, right? There was different animals that had bunny ears that were auditioning for being picked as the Cadbury rabbit. I don't know. I'm just feeling this, the stage and the way this rabbit is positioned is reminding me of taking what you have, taking what you've got from the inside and using that to work with, to create something, even if you're not a rabbit, if the audition is for a rabbit and you're not a rabbit, by gone it, you've got what it takes to be the best, dog rabbit there is. I feel like there's something here with really using everything that you have and finding that within you have inspiration, you have material to work with to create things that are really beautiful in your life. Beauty begets beauty, as it's said here. And, when you follow your joy, you can't go wrong. So even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, or it's not something that whether other people will enjoy what you're creating, create for you. Create for you and trust that there is beauty in it for others, and certainly if there are things that you would consider your muse, whether it be listening to certain music or setting a certain tone, or if you have inspiration from certain personalities, people, things that you can bring in around you to help you when you're looking to be inspired, would be another thing coming forward for me. But definitely connecting within, allowing those little flashes of inspiration and ideas. And even if it is as silly as, an old Cadbury egg commercial, whatever it may be, allow that to inspire you and to incite joy. So I hope you find some resonance in that message, and thank you so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. Okay, if you chose card 5 for the earth element, your card is the earth snake. Gratitude leads to abundance. So this is card 6, and the message from the oracle is, Yin Earth in the heavenly frequency brings blessings from Mother Earth. She will provide you with the resources needed to manifest your dreams. Tune into her frequency of peace and gratitude. The more you give back to her land, the more abundance she will give you in return for your generosity. The snake is an interesting yin fire sign with hidden yang qualities of metal, fire, and earth. She appears feminine and nurturing on the surface, and it's only when you get to know her that you'll also discover a determined and bright character who can also be very persistent. This card tells you to search deeper. You may be surprised to find buried treasures hidden underneath the surface. The earth snake pillar brings messages of love and joy. Engage in activities that make your heart sing to spark the joy within. You have an infinite capacity to love. Be bold with your love and sincere with your heart. The message from heaven, Yin Earth reminds us to consider our actions with sustainability in mind. Nurture Mother Earth as you would yourself and your loved ones. We are all part of her. Message from Earth, the snake's yin fire carries the frequency of joy, which you can cultivate by bringing in more of what uplifts you. Where in nature do you feel happiest? A simple awareness practice is to note the dominating colors in your wardrobe and your surroundings. Which colors and objects uplift your mood? So that's beautiful. And as I was reading that, I was actually thinking of card 4, which I've just shared, which was actually also card number 4. So it had double 4 energy, and it was the fire rabbit, which was called Welcome the Muse. It's a very similar type of message if you feel called to check that one out as well, to expand on this message. But this idea of cultivating joy and being inspired from within, what lights you up, what makes you feel invigorated. I love that suggestion about the clothing you wear or the colors that you tend to lean into in your surroundings. If these things uplift you or inspire you, really consider bringing in more of those colors around you, or maybe even incorporating a color that you wouldn't normally have, that you realize actually does feel bright and inciting joy or in some way uplifting, that you might want to weave into your day, into your surroundings as well. I actually think the colors on this card are quite striking, and I really do love the nod to Mother Earth and the idea of returning to her gratitude for her abundance, and thinking about some ways that you can connect with Earth, and maybe even some gestures of sending that love and gratitude to the earth, so that in this spiral energy of the snake returning back to you. So there's definitely some beautiful symbols here within this card. And it actually, the 6 energy is reminding me of, because of course the number 6 is balance and harmony. And I'm thinking of the 6 of Pentacles in the tarot, which is all about giving and receiving, reciprocity, and this exchange of abundance. And the idea that abundance can come in many forms. And so what we have to share with others, with the earth, and what it is that we receive with a grateful heart, can be very different. And yet there's this beautiful balance in the exchange of that energy in the universe. And so I'm feeling a nod here to the opportunity to create some of that balance, flow, and harmony. And also, with the video that I did share here on the Sharecast and on my social media spaces as well, I shared some Feng Shui tips. And what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of that, and I'll actually put it here at the end of our card interpretations for anyone who would like to save those. Those were some tips for ways that you can usher in the new into your space and into your surroundings. And I'm feeling a little nod here there as well for creating more lightness and joy in your environment. So I hope you found something to resonate there in the message. Thank you so much for tuning in, and Happy New Year.